Nissan has been testing different vehicle-to-grid (V2G) systems, which enable electric car owners to use their car's battery pack to feed energy back into their home or grid, with the Leaf for years now. With the launch of the next-generation Leaf, Nissan now unveils a new EV ecosystem, including a scheme to offer free power to owners with the V2G system. Since Tesla launched the Powerwall, its home battery pack in 2015, several other automakers have launched similar products leveraging their electric car battery pack development. Mercedes-Benz launched its battery pack earlier this year, just like Renault earlier this summer, but Nissan's entry in the market is a little different. Nissan's home battery pack, called X-Storage, also serves as an electric car wall connector, and it's bi-directional, meaning that it can take energy from the car's battery pack and feed it to the unit, power the house, or send it through the electric grid. Nissan says that the home battery pack, which was developed in partnership with Eaton, has sold more than 1,000 units across Europe in just 3 months, with 5,000 units expected to be sold by the end of March 2018. Nissan expects to sell 100,000 home energy units by the end of FY 2020 in Europe. Using what they learned from test programs with those packs, including a trial with a fleet in Denmark last year, Nissan announced a plan to offer customers free power for its EVs. Using Nissan bi-directional charging, customers can draw energy from the grid to power their car or van and then sell back to the grid for others to use. This means, once a nominal charge has been paid by the business for the installation of a V2G charger, there are no fuel or energy costs. Just free power for your EV. Of course, this plan is highly dependent on market conditions, especially local electricity rates and time-of-use billing schemes. They are launching a similar program in the UK with OVO, and they are exploring other regions in Europe to offer similar programs. Paul Wilcox, chairman of Nissan Europe, said about the announcement in an event in Norway yesterday. Step by step we are removing any barriers to electric vehicle adoption, from infrastructure investment, to how people access the power itself. Over the coming decades, through our Nissan Intelligent Mobility vision, the electric ecosystem will transform modern life as we know it. But while the starting point for it is 100% electric vehicles like the new Leaf and ENV200, the impact goes much further. With fewer emissions, our cities and air will be cleaner. With more intelligent safety features, car accidents would be reduced dramatically. With better connections between vehicles and their surroundings, the school run or daily commute will no longer be clogged with traffic. And by letting people charge their vehicle and their home from each other, we can use our time and energy supplies more efficiently than ever. He also announced that Nissan plans to support the deployment of 1,000 fast chargers, CHAdeMO, in Europe over the next 18 months. Electrek's take. Vehicle-to-grid is a very attractive additional feature to have on an electric vehicle, but it has some drawbacks. For example, if someone is actually looking for a permanent home energy storage solution, it's just not it. You can't count on your car being available with enough energy capacity to serve as home energy storage all the time. That's where Nissan's solution is especially interesting, since its car's V2G system is actually combined with a home battery pack, which enables always some capacity at home. For backup power, especially in prolonged power outages, it's an interesting solution, but it's another matter for daily cycling when combined with solar energy or for grid services, which is another drawback. Long-range electric vehicle battery packs are optimized, or at least they should be, for weekly cycling. You can top the car off every night, but generally speaking, a full charge lasts a few days to a week for regular commuting. A home battery pack combined with the solar installation or to use for grid services cycles every day. Doing this with an electric car battery pack puts an additional strain on it that could accelerate its degradation. In short, it's a cool feature to have, but there are a few things to keep in mind.
The latest batch of pickups on the market close the gap between what was once a humble workhorse and a luxury SUV. One such is the Nissan Navara in its latest form. Offered as a conventional pickup, a two-door king cab or a four-door double cab, the Japanese-marked Navara brings in driving qualities that were once unheard of in what is essentially a work vehicle. The Navara NP300 Techna Double Cab is perhaps the best illustration of how the rise in the leisure industry has fueled the widening of the horizon of this type of vehicle from the builder's yard to the executive driveway. Costing £33,330 on the road, here is a vehicle that can seat 5 in comfort, with easy access, and transport a massive amount of gear on its generous load bed. But add a lockable hardtop plus load liner and this vehicle becomes a mega estate, fit for most purposes a family needs for just a few £1,000s more. Many might think that pickups are tough to drive. Years ago this might have been true, but these days technology and customer demands have driven up expectation and the Navara is as pleasant to drive as an executive saloon. Its long length takes a little getting used to when parking, but the Techna model's parking sensors and around view monitor make it easy. This vehicle was fitted with a 7-speed auto transmission linked to a punchy 2.3-liter twin-turbo diesel engine with power aplenty at 190 picoseconds. The Navara in earlier forms was never short on power and could be a little skittish on gravel. But this latest version, with vastly improved ride quality, seems a much better driving proposition without losing any of the punch that Navara drivers love. The Techna Double Cab features a 5-link coil spring rear suspension, which makes a big difference. Maximum speed is an impressive 112 mph and there is a good zoom from standstill to 62 mph of 10.8 seconds and economy is to the 4 with an average 40.4 mpg. And it has a specification that would do justice to a premium saloon, with features such as an emergency braking system, hill start assist and much more. There is a selector to switch into 4-wheel drive, which includes a low-range mode with electric limited slip differential. A 3,500 kilograms towing capacity and a payload of 1,052 kilograms are generous and mean the Navara can cope with most things an outdoor family will have cause to look about.
Nissan had a good thing going in the late 1980s and early 1990s, but many of its coolest creations were never officially offered for sale in the United States. You've got hero cars like the Skyline GTR, balanced sports machines like the Silvia and even the rugged patrol SUV. And all of them have their partisans, but few have captured enthusiast attention like the so-called Pike Factory cars, the Escargot, the BE1, the Pau and the Figaro. These were retro cars done right, years before we would see the likes of the PT Cruiser and Chevrolet SSR. Relatively affordable and pocket size, though not as small as Japan's K cars, they were also limited edition. Production of the Figaro, which we examined in the February 25, 1991 issue of Auto Week, was limited to just 20,000 cars. That number was actually supposed to be just 8,000, but demand for the cute convertible was overwhelming. Even with a boosted production, it was more or less an instant collector's item coveted around the world, even though they were only sold in Japan. Though we compared the Figaro's dimensions to those of the Geo Metro, also known as the Suzuki Cultus, it was more or less a Nissan Micra, called the March in the Japanese market, under its skin. That means it's a front driver with a 987cc inline-4 under the hood, hooked up to a 3-speed automatic, no Micra-spec 5-speed manual here. Output is respectable, for its era, and the car's size, 76 horsepower and 78 pounds ft. Figaro's found an eager audience in the United Kingdom, where grey market importation is more straightforward and the right-hand drive setup makes perfect sense, but they've also eagerly snapped up by U.S. buyers since they turned 25 years old and became legal to bring into the country. If you're interested in a Figaro, we know where you can find 1 or 2, or 100, right here in the States, Duncan Imports.